This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC, San Diego, URSA 2019. I have the pleasure of having the Chief Operating Officer with one of the cleanest resumes of all time, similar to my father. Not too many jobs and only the good ones, and the good people stay. Mark Miller, welcome to Halo Talks.
Pete, thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Great. So, we've known each other through other people in the industry for a long time. Merritt's always been a bellwether of respectful club chain in your markets, and I'd say middle market to higher end experience.
That's exactly right.
Has always been well respected, and obviously part of that's because of your work as the COO and building the culture and the foundation. So what I want to do today is have people understand, one, what it takes to build a real business, two, some of your operational learnings and the way you manage the company, and then talk about the place that Merritt is in the market and why that's going to continue to be the way it is, and we're not going to be it's not just going to be laundromats that have equipment in it and a couple of boutiques. So why don't you fire away and talk about your background and how you got into the industry and why you're going to retire from the industry directly and you're not going to do anything else in your life.
No, definitely not. No, I love this industry. So I started back in, I don't want to date myself too much, but it was back in 1990.
Estimate. In the 90s. Early 90s.
I've gone to college and all that for it and, played sports my whole life, got injured and wanted to make a difference in helping people get healthier. So I spent years on that end of the spectrum. And then I met Roger Ralph, who had built the Bel Air Athletic Club and one of the greatest clubs out there, and owners and everything, and just a great mentor. And he really kind of put that philosophy into my head of, the business can take care of people and, you can make a difference in people's lives and all that. And so that's kind of where the journey started.
Gotcha.
And then I kind of moved on from there to, Merritt 19 years ago and, worked with Terry Dizzuti for a while as a mentor and, recently kind of took over the last couple of years as the COO. And the ownership group there is just unbelievable. And Leroy Merritt, who started the club, he started it very similar to Roger, and it was always about people. And it was about just, you do the right thing, you take care of people, and the business takes care of itself. And so from that moment on, it was just kind of like, this industry can change people's lives if we choose to do it that way.
Right.
And
how many locations you up to now?
So we have 9 locations. Then we have a management division. So we have 2 outdoor management pools. We have 4 corporate fitness centers that we manage. And then obviously we build and all that. But then on the other side of the company, we're a real estate and a construction. So, we tie back into some of their projects. Any of the corporate centers that they're building and all that, we automatically put fitness centers in.
Interesting.
And all that. So it's really kind of a nice marriage on everything.
That's great. So, when you started as a COO, how many clubs did you have, and how did you, were you one of those crazy entrepreneurial operators like I am, where I got to go and touch everything, and I got to touch as many times as possible and coach everybody up as often? And how has that changed over time as you kind of built the team?
Yeah, so actually that's an interesting thing. So I used to kind of be like that. I like to be in the field. I like to be in the trenches with all that. Rob, who's one of our owners, Rob Merritt, he kind of came to me and said, look, if you're really going to grow us and we're going to get to the next level and all that, there's got to be stuff that you do that you don't even know about. You got to just let your people do it, because you hire good people and you let them do the job that they're hired on, and that frees you up to focus on the important things.
Yeah.
And so, that's given us the opportunity over the last couple of years to really go in. And then we really kind of sat down and looked at it and said, we started off as old racquetball courts. And so, we were starting to eliminate racquetball courts, and we wanted to expand, and we wanted to really move, like you said earlier, into the high end. We're the middle market, but we wanted to be the high-end middle market all the way up to the high end. So we have some clubs that are $109 a month, and then our other ones fit around that $79. But we said, look, we're here to stay in that market. We're not looking to leave. We think that's a great demographic. We think that we're going to be building more clubs for it. And so we started making some major investments to really modernize the facilities. We just recently built a rooftop pool on top of an 8-story parking garage that is like Vegas-esque.
Wow.
2 leisure pools.
In Baltimore?
Yeah, in Baltimore.
It's closer than going to Vegas. So, Hey, for $109 a month, you might as well just sign up for a membership. It'll cost you less than going to Vegas and some bottle service at the MGM pool, right?
Or what you lose in one round of craps on the table,
exactly.
right?
Well, I don't play that anymore, but yeah, it sounds so. So as you look at these opportunities, and when you're talking about renovations, when you look at the racquetball clubs and you look at each one of the racquetball courts, like, what are those now inside? Like, what's racquetball court number 1, 2, 3? What'd you retrofit those into? Just give people an idea of what it used to be to what it is now.
So we took out one and we expanded the entire cardio area and opened it up and put equipment downstairs so that people didn't even have to walk upstairs, made it just more convenient.
Okay.
And they could do more of the hit style workout, so they could do a circuit and then go jump back on a piece of equipment and all that. And then the other racquetball court that we took out, we just turfed the whole thing and just made it into a fun, functional playground with tanks and TRX straps, medicine balls. People could throw it against the wall and just, cool place just to throw stuff.
And then, with these renovations, are those things that are, how much work are you doing on, like, saying, all right, here's what strategically your gut says, here's like what our GM says, here's what the manager says, here's what the members say, here's like a strategic plan. How much do you do based on like gut versus data or surveys, or you say like, look, I'm going to lead with this and I know been doing this long enough?
Yeah, it's probably about 50-50, to be honest with you. Some of it is just you go out to other clubs and you experience different things. And, I belong to the Rex Roundtables and we share ideas, and you just come back and you go, oh, I got to put that in my club. And that's just gut. You're just going off of gut and borrowing the best ideas out there. But then there's other times that you sit down with your GMs and say, hey, look, what's the members saying? What do the members want? What's our, what are we getting from our surveys? And, what should we really start to cater to? And it, some of it even becomes operational. Like, are we turning people out of classes that we need to build bigger studios? And if that's the case, then we better build it. Or some of it becomes in response to, like you had said earlier, you get a boutique or that coming in and we're like, well, wait a minute,
Yeah, we could do that, right?
We could do that, and we got the square footage to do that. We're 50, 60,000 square foot clubs. Why don't we just put it in?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people come to us who are investors and say, okay, I only want to invest in like Planet Fitness or an Orange Theory. I'm like, okay. First of all, they don't have daycare at either one of those, okay? Right. They don't really have locker rooms that, people want to go to, and they don't have, Group X that you can go to all day long, for an unlimited price of a membership. So, everybody's got their place in the market. Hopefully the market continues to grow, which it will.
Oh, yeah.
But how do you use, like, what the boutiques are doing and basically say, okay, look, I'm going to track it. I'm going to see what they're doing. I'm going to understand what the special sauce is, because that's been in this industry 19 years. Like, you might have a special recipe, but like, I'll look at it long enough and I'll know what it is.
Right.
And then I'll just take it and I'll pull it in. And that's, some of these models might work. And the other ones, like, I'd argue that, a CrossFit, used to have like a special sauce until you took a racquetball court out and basically said, okay, I got my own CrossFit now.
Right, exactly.
And then I got like this really awesome spin class and like, go try and replicate what I got.
Right.
So how do you think about, or like, how, what kind of tentacles do you have up versus just, ordinarily have up that you're like, look, I'm going to track certain things, and when I'm ready, I'll put it in.
Yeah. So we, it's funny because back like in the Civil War days, they used to have these, the infantry that would kind of go out, and they were like scouts.
Right,
so they'd go out and like scout the area, and then they'd come back and tell you like where everyone was. And so we kind of took that same concept and said, look, who are our scouts? And so we started talking to our staff and our members and said, hey, look, go work out there, go try it out, see what they have, come back, talk to us, let us know what happens. And
I like it.
And what they would do is they'd come back and say, look, they have really killer music, or, the lighting is incredible and the feel, and they do this simple thing when you come in, it's like experiential. And then they kind of build this tribe and this crazy community, and they high five people and all that. And so then we just said, okay, well, look, we could do that. We could put lighting in, we could put great sound systems in. Let's just upgrade all that stuff so that we make sure we have it. And then we take our rock stars, who we think are the best staff, and we say, look, go kill it. Go and create an experience that no one else creates and all that, and we'll take care of you for it, and we want to reward you for it. And, and then, we try to create that cult effect, that they all seem to have as their secret sauce.
Yeah, and look, I mean, a couple of them I think are here to stay. I think Orange Theory's done a great job, and I got mad respect for those guys. But there are these other concepts that, one, don't understand about, marketing. They don't understand about lead gen. They don't understand about, keeping a member and keeping them happy and giving them a breadth of different options. So, you're not going to go to a boutique, 6 or 7 days a week, and you're not going to pay that amount. So how do you think about, your place in the world, and how does the family, that started the business say, look, there's noise all the time. Like, this industry is effectively like an irrational development category.
Right.
So let's just take that and like put it on the shelf and be like, okay, that's life. Now, we've been around for 30 years, and we're going to be around for another 30 if we choose to, on our own under the Merritt Athletic Club. So how do you think about, approaching the family? Because you're obviously, managing up to people that are, going to spend a certain amount of capital. Where you say like, okay, look, I'm going to basically do this amount of research. I'm going to have my scouts in the field, and I'm going to be like, don't worry about Planet Fitness. Don't worry about all these other concepts. Like, we might be down a little, but like on average, things always come back. Like, it's not the new restaurant in town anymore.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of? I'm throwing a lot out at you. So tell me how you manage up and how you manage around.
So let me attack it from a couple different ways. So
I apologize for the complex question.
That's all right. I think my brain can process it. If not, I'll just make the stuff up as I go.
Yeah, very well. I'll call you out on it if I feel like it.
But you're right. So we take things like an Orange Theory, who we respect a lot, and we say, look, what do they do that's so well? And how do we make it so that we become the next step for them? Mm-hmm. Because we agree with you. Not everyone's going to kind of use that, but we want to be that opportunity when the person gets done with them and says, you know what, I want something new. Okay, now come to Merritt.
Right,
and then vice versa. If we're not going to be the right place for them, maybe we're going to move them to somebody. But we know that cycle is going to come back. So like you said, every time a new competitor comes in, we know we're going to lose 200, 300 people.
Right.
But we also know within 1 or 2 years, they're going to come back because the culture that we've created and the way we take care of people and our service and all that is going to bring people back. And so our owners, it's really interesting. We've kind of over the years, myself and Rob and Scott, who are the two main guys, what we've kind of done is we've looked at it and we said, let's stop competing with everyone else in the industry. Let's stop trying to fight with the planet. Let's stop trying to fight with the crunch.
Yep.
Let's think about where people are consuming and how they're behaving. And then let's figure out how we go after that. And we create something that's different and unique. And so for us, we want to look out and see, take a hotel, right? How are they taking care of their members? How are they designing and all that? Okay, great. Then that's how we need to be behaving. We need to be looking at other places.
I think that's a good segue into pricing, okay? And like, I'll go out to lunch in Manhattan. I can't buy like a turkey sandwich and like, in a drink for less than like $16, right? And then it's like, okay, you get this membership or you take this class or whatever. And I'm like, this is completely underpriced. Like we're giving a lot of value to the member. We're not getting any of it for providing the service. So how do you think about pricing and promotions and like, the urge to like say like, all right, we might have lost 200 members. Let's, go get them back based on price. Because one of the guys I used to work for, he say, look, once you give up price, you never get any back. So like, just don't go there because it's a dangerous spiral.
So we made the decision a few years back that we were just going to stop, just not even do any of that anymore. Uh-huh. And so we also studied it though. And what we found was when we did those discounts, whether it be the dollar enrollments or the zero joins and all that, that we got, I hate to say it this way, but we got the crap members. The members that would come in, they would use our pools for the summertime, then quit, go to bad debt. We're chasing them. We're not getting anything for it, but yet they've used our pools for the whole summer. And so we just finally said, look, you know what? If you went to the Ritz-Carlton ain't discounting any of their rates.
Exactly.
Exactly. And so we said, look, if we're going to play the high-end market, then we're not going to discount. And, we're going to be for some people, but the other people we're not going to be for. And that's okay because we want the people who are going to actually pay for it and value the service, like you said.
So in closing here, talk a little bit about what you're doing to act more like the Ritz-Carlton. So like I go to Ritz-Carlton and like I'll check in. I don't go there that often, by the way. So like, I don't want people to think like I'm like I like
to hit the Hilton.
Higher brow.
That's what I
hit the Hilton. I might hit like like an A-loft for $119 a night off of hotels.com on my free night.
Exactly.
1 out of 11. How do you think about gathering data? Not just like gathering data, but just gathering like who someone is. And the reason why I asked you this is because somebody had like 300 members in this studio, and I'm like, and they're telling me what the data says, and I'm like, bro, tell me what the people say.
Right.
I don't care what the data. You only have 300 people to like talk to the 300 people. Don't like analyze the data on 300. It's like small enough sample set. How do you think about like getting feedback, listening, understanding who what's going on versus like looking at a spreadsheet?
we're like you. I hate looking at spreadsheets. I'm a phys ed guy.
Oh, okay.
I started in this industry being a trainer, being out on the floor talking to people and all that. I don't want to sit behind a desk and talk to people or look at numbers and all that. So it's like, look, the best information you're going to find is when you're out front talking to a person, and you're looking at them and you're getting their expressions and seeing how their body language is, and you're having a conversation with them versus looking at a piece of paper that says, hey, 10 people joined because you charged $1, versus going out there and say, hey, why did you really join? Like, what brought you into the club today? And so for us, it's all about people. We start with people. We start with our employees. And, we start with how we teach people, how we train them, how we hire them. It's all about the right character and all that and doing the right thing. And then it's about selecting the right members who are just about people, and then it's taking care of them.
Right.
And we feel if we do all that stuff right, the numbers just take care of themselves behind the scenes.
That's great. Well, Mark, I'm glad we had a chance to get on the show here.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad that now I know that there's a pool on the 8th floor that I can go to when I get down to your area.
Vegas, and it's got killer drafts. There's
yeah, man,
18 of them
and I get down there on the Acela, so I might be there for maybe I'll buy a 109 membership, keep myself out of the Vegas DMA.
We might actually let you come in for the day.
All right, that's cool. I appreciate the guest pass. Hey, but listen, great work. It proves that longevity in a company helps build a real foundation and a culture.
Appreciate that.
And we look forward to continuing to see your success, and we'll hopefully be one of your little scouts out in the field and tell you what's going on, what we see, and what we like.
I would love that. Thank you so much. All right, man. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.